Hello, hello, hello. Testing, testing. 1, 2, 3. Testing. Is my voice coming through? I'm going to test my voice here with something that is on my mind, okay? And I'm just going to start the stream this way. Even before I show my face, I'm going to say it this way, okay? And please bear with me. Bear with me, okay? So my name is Nicholas Polimanakos, aka Sparkles of Gold. I have a YouTube channel. I happen to be an astrologer and I do weekly forecasts. I do other types of things. I do surprise live streams like the one you're watching right now. And these are the words that are in my head before I start to stream and talk about the weekly forecast, okay? Shot through the heart. It's all part of the game that we call love. All right? So would you be content to see me crying after all those little games you put me through? What song am I singing? Why did I wake up with this song in my head? It's not supposed to mean anything. It's just that's what's in my head. So it is my face. Hi. Who knows if we'll have anybody jumping in today because this is really impromptu. And I'm just trying to get into my senses into where I am. I will say hi to people in chat here in a second and let people file in. I hope the lighting's decent. It looks decent. Is my lighting decent? It is. It's kind of soft today. Soft, like the Doors, a soft parade. So that's what's happening there. Hello to everybody joining in. I have Bon Jovi in my head. So, yeah, it's shot through the heart as I lay there alone in the dark through the heart. It's all part of the game we call love. Yeah, so am I singing the right lyrics? Welcome. Hi, Mani and channel member and Jagger in chat. Welcome. Tara's in the house here. GME. I see Black Moon Jesus jumping in. See Barish here, another channel member in the chat. And I will get warmed up here. See how long I go today. I don't know how much of my voice I'm going to have today. We'll talk about the week's transits. And let's see if I can do this somewhat differently. I'm finally catching up with sleep. So, yeah. Hello. Welcome. All right. Let me get to this. My lighting is funny today. Do I need to add some color? Do it. Let's add some color. Do I add blue? There's some blue, but that's not. Do I go green? That's green, but it's almost too green. If I go bright, no. There. Welcome. All right, let's go. Let me pop out my chat, and we're gonna jump right in today. As I get that Bon Jovi song out of my head. Let's do this. Again, I want to acknowledge those who jumped in on chat. Good to see you, Orphic Astrology. I'm hanging in there. I'm doing better. We're going to see. I might be doing a lot of that. Wake Me From This says, I want to make a supercut of you saying your videos are last minute. They are. That's my life. Well, actually, the live streams are last minute. There's the other parts of my life that are very planned, and I like to be on time. Don't let anybody ever tell you that Geminis don't like to be on time. Many do. As a matter of fact, we like to be there earlier than you know, because that's where the magic happens when you're early before everyone shows up, and then they're wondering things and wondering how you know things because you were there before everyone else. Hint, hint. Isha, another channel member, thank you, is hanging out making cabbage rolls. God, that sounds good. Cabbage roll. Steffi G with starting off my stream with a $5 donation. Thank you so much. It is all going to supplementation and healthy food my next week. I appreciate that. And I appreciate all my channel members. I have Barish here. I have Mani. I have Isha who are channel members. Thank you. I got Patreon members here. Thank you. All the cash I can get to pay the essentials. In life, I want to thank that. Mandy Backroads is in the chat too. Hello. Might be a small group today. I think a lot of people in the astrology world might be burnt out on videos and lectures and webinars and pontifications and prophecies and predictions. And so I have plenty of that coming for you on this stream if you need more. All right. So, oh yeah, I definitely tell I'm going to have to slow down today. Let me set myself up here. I think there. Hi. And I'll do it that way. All right. So Laura's in chat along. Yeah. Burnout. That's reminding me of a Scorpion song, A Blackout. I love that band. I really love that band. Thanks again, Steffi G, for the super chat. I'm on my way to 5 as my goal today, and we're already hitting the 1. So let's go it on the 1. As any good funk song knows, we're going to hit it on the 1, and we're going to get to it. Today is June 1st. Can you believe it? Whew. June 1st. It was just in January that Mars turned retrograde. It went stationed retrograde in Leo. And we're just coming out of a Jupiter-Saturn square at the end of the year. And we were like, oh, here we go. 2025. Saturn in Aries, Neptune in Aries, Pluto in Aquarius, Uranus in Gemini. Eclipses. Remember those? So now we're at June 1st and we're hitting the midpoint of the year. You made it. If you're watching this, you're alive. Barely, maybe. But you're here. And I'm here, and I barely made it through this week. But I am appreciative. I'm appreciative of my presence in this world and of the tools and the knowledge that I've acquired and it's out there for me to acquire for the rest of my life. You know, as a Gemini, I have a certain type of understanding with myself and the world, and it's been a lot of work. And I would take where I am now instead of where I was 25 years ago, 30 years ago. The knowledge I thought I have, even though I was there, I only was there for what I was ready for. But now, after the bruising and the tattoos and the scarring, the mental scarring, the Saturnian breaking of my will and bones, that I wouldn't trade any of it for what I know now. And so I just want to start the stream by saying that I always try to stay humble and appreciative of where I am and where I come from, which is hard work and a family of hard workers, 2 immigrants, very hard-working people. Nothing was handed to us. Nothing was handed to me. You know, there ain't no trust fund ayahuasca trip into whatever fucking country. You know, there isn't a college degree fueled by a free rent for 4 years. Ain't like that here. It's the school of hard knocks, and it's a school of hard work, and I'm proud of it, and I love it. And I love that I have my own way, my own craziness, my own thing. It is June 1st. It's June 1st right here. Let's get to it. We're doing a stream while the moon is still in Leo with a Mars-Leo conjunction, which is basically brought fire to our last 2.5 days. I think some of us might have needed this. I think that I've come to appreciate Leo moons. I never used to like them, by the way. But because of the age that I'm at now and this wisdom I've acquired, I've come to understand it and love it. Yeah. I love it when it's focused and used in a balanced way, as with anything in the astrology world. So we have this Mars-Moon conjunction. Am I correct by saying that this is the last Leo-Mars-Moon conjunction? While Mars is in Leo, because the next time the moon's in Leo is going to be the 26th of June, and then we will be, let me see if I'm correct about this. I am. My brain is gone. Mercury in Leo's shadow. Why am I even looking at shadow? That is so weird to even say that. It's on the 17th and Mars goes into Virgo. This will be the last one. So saying that, that's the weekend that we're in. What I'm really paying attention to is Mercury, and I want to, because we just had a Mercury-Sun conjunction that happened here several days ago that is lingering. I love it. I appreciate this, and I'll tell you right now, part of me is thinking about doing a live stream every day this week. Whether it's on my phone or on this, purposely, with multiple video publishing. Purposely, because basically there is only a week left of Jupiter being in Gemini. And you could see Jupiter here at 28 degrees. We're at the end, people. Oh, do you hear that? Do you hear that? I can't wait. I can't wait for Jupiter to go in Cancer. Blah, 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 blah. I don't want it to go in Cancer. I would rather have it stay in Gemini forever, okay? How about that? Take that. Take that. Do you remember when Mars went retrograde in Gemini several years ago? That's when I actually knew my Gemini limit. It was wild what happened during that Mars retrograde. I remember doing a ton of streams. I lost my mind on stream. I remember this, and it needed to happen. This ain't the same thing. I am going to miss this transit in my personal life because of what happened, and actually for the overboarding, the overdoing, the overextension that even happened in my mind that needed to happen in my world. I said this on the last couple streams. This particular Jupiter transit, yes, we know the traditional structure, dignity, and I don't fucking care. You had Saturn in on this game the whole time. What else do you want? What else do you want but Saturnian structures squaring Jupiter and Gemini and forcing it to conform in some system, some way to know what it is to be too scattered as a Gemini, as a mutable person, too much mutability, too scattered, too many words, not breathing. You know, Saturn in Pisces comes in and has the rules. And I said, I told you so. And actually, all that research and that flattering around that you're doing, if you would just focus it, the channeling of Hermes and the mercurial alchemical power that you have, Mercury, wherever you are and what it's signed during the whole time, that if you do this, it's pure. So for me, from a spiritual perspective, from a Saturn and Pisces perspective, in the limiting of a Jupiter in Gemini transit, it was so fortunate in my world. I am so grateful. I learned so much. I will continue to learn from this. There's things, especially in the last couple months, certain types of realities for me as a Gemini and how I'm doing business and what I've learned and what I'm going to do that I take a long-term picture with, and the next time we let's say when Saturn hits another mutable place, right? I'll check in on this. I'll say hi everybody in chat here in a second. Anyway, we got a week left of Jupiter being in Gemini. That's why I called the stream Mind Multiplied, because when I get to the end of this transit for the week or talking about it, there's something that's building this whole week with Jupiter and Mercury. And for those out there, enjoy it while you can, and maybe I will do a video every day this week to milk it as much as I can. So saying that, that's what's happening here on the 1st. It was earlier today that we had Venus. God, it seems like forever. Still in Aries. Still there with a conjunction to Chiron here. And it is funny here because basically Venus has gone through so much. I think it's maximum elongation as we speak today. Today, Venus maximum elongation before it starts to come the other direction. I want to thank all the Aries people out there, and I'm going to say that I'm proud of you. Anybody who's had Aries placements and has had to deal with eclipses, a Chiron story for all these years, I want to say good work in confronting the wounds and the sensitive parts of yourself and recognizing that also in other people and helping other people that way. Sometimes Aries gets a bad rap because they're looked upon as selfish. Like they wouldn't help anybody else, which is bullshit. But they also show us to be selfish in the correct ways, to take care of ourselves, to put ourselves first in healthy, balanced ways. We just don't want to do it where we're hurting other people while we're doing it maliciously. But I think here with a conjunction like this that's happening, and happened 1:10 p.m. today, it's still there, that for me, it's almost a self-love, self-recognition of one's journey, healing journey with Chiron, and that it's not over yet. But I'll tell you, it's enough to pat yourself on the back and say, good work, good job. You're always going to take these lessons forward to you in the rest of your life. And if you can recognize others who, let's say, in a sense, don't know how to do the Aries part of the chart, or the Aries parts of themselves, or the Mars parts of the chart, that you are a great example. And if you find yourself in the situation of being able to help somebody in that kind of way, please do, because they're going to appreciate it. And I know that the love and care that you'll have and the pep talk that you'll give them, but there's a certain type of compassion and empathy and understanding that you've acquired here. And so pat yourself on the back and congratulations. No, the transit's not done, but this is pretty fundamental here. One more thing I will say here, and I'll take a look at chat here in a second, is in this particular chart, you could see I have ERIS in my charts lately. I just want to point this out. On a bigger world level here, you see Saturn and Neptune here, right? And we know what's going on with this conjunction and what it means. And from a self-development perspective, let's not even use self-development. Let's just say, like, from a protectional place, you know, to get your body and your bones together and to be focused for the bigger spiritual reasons of how being connected to your body and what it means, how the will move through your body in the world. But if you need a little something else to get you going, to piss you off in a good way, remember, Eris is sitting over here. And if you need a reason to forge a sword and wield your sword for whatever purposes, you know, and I from a Robin Hood mentality type of purposes, because I roll with that kind of thing, you can also think about it here, because sometimes we turn in our wounds into weapons. Sometimes we turn our wounds into knowledge and how we put it in the world. And sometimes we do have to wield the sword. And sometimes if it is about being apathetic with no hope, at a loss, we take Mars and we make our weapons to save ourselves and to smash apathy in our lives. You have to not only do you have to defend yourself, sometimes you have to fight back. And even beyond that, if a new world needs to be created, or worlds are created in your local world for you, your family, for survival, or as a country, or whatever, we do have to show our strength and where we stand. And much of that sometimes comes from the pain we've tasted. And can we turn that anger into something else? And sometimes we transmute that into, quote unquote, our weaponry, and to prepare ourselves. This can happen in many different ways. I want to point out here, you know, right now, you know, Mars is in Leo here. So we have a fiery creative force happening here. If you want to take on the Eris archetype, you know, discord and rebellion, please do. Feel free to discord away. Okay. So I just want to say that. I just want to point that out really quick before I really start to jump in. I want to say hi to AV and JRP Jelly in chat, along with Laura. And while Magi is here, AV is here. I got all the crews here today. Who else do I got? Melissa Carey, greetings to you. And Melissa's in Ireland. Yes. Mercury T. I like that. Catherine, hello. And Stormie Grace. Hi, Stormie. What's up, pal? Stormie and I just put up a video, if you guys didn't notice, in the last, was it 24 hours, of a little interview I did with Stormie. outside Norwalk, where it was nice out. Where is it? You could see it right here. You could see it right there. Hi, Stormie. Hi. So check that out. I'll drop that in the thing. Hi, Stormie. So saying that, I'll put that in chat. Want to acknowledge everybody before I really get going here. GME. GME. As soon as I said your name, you threw a super chat on me. Thank you so much. Thanks. Discord. Rebellion. Thank you, GME. Wow, that's a good look. I love this orange color. GME, thank you. Thank you, pal. Thank you for the help here. Danielle Alana's in here. And AV, I said that. Woo. All right, let's keep going. I can't stop now. So anyway, I wanted to point that out today. We started off with today. And most important, no, it's not most importantly, I also want to point this out because this kind of goes into my stream. This is 8:27 tonight here. I moved the chart up. The reason is because I want to show you the moon going into Virgo. And this is why I think this is a huge mercurial week. It's not just because of Sun, Mercury, and Jupiter and Gemini. It's because the next 2.5 days are mercurially based. So we're going to have more Mercury, and it's more from the Virgo end and from the detail-oriented end and sometimes the critical end of things. And we got a little something here because basically when we get into tomorrow, we got the moon square the sun on the 2nd. On the 3rd, it's moon square Mercury, right? So, we have some mutable madness going on here. I'm just going all the way to the 3rd. And you will see here, then we have our monthly moon south node conjunction for all you Virgos out there. This is something I would keep track of. And if you need to go hide out and take care of yourself and clean house, please do literally clean house or clean the office. It's either one place is clean and one place is dirty in the Virgo land. So I try to either make both places dirty and then both places clean. Anyway, there is the conjunction that's going to happen there. So a lot of Mercury, like we already have enough, but from the Virgo perspective, try to give yourself a little bit of a break. By the way, catch yourself when you can only do so much, too many things. You just step away. You can't solve all the problems, especially with the mind flowing at what it is in Mercury and Gemini. It just, you could do that. Got moon square Jupiter here that happens that's going to happen 4:11 a.m. on the Wednesday, the 4th, on Mercury Day. So when we get into this Tuesday, Wednesday thing, my Virgo people start to take some of the lessons from what Pisces gives you, but learning how to detach and let go and relax and find something else to blank your mind out. So basically, that is happening, Moon and Virgo. So we go to the 3rd. I already talked about that. And then we go into a Libra moon, which then, to me, for this week, I just put it up an hour and ahead or whatever. This is still Tuesday, but we're going into Wednesday right here with Libra moon. Now, I think this is interesting here because I always give Libra, everything on this channel, a bad rap. just because. Because this is the reason why. Because Scorpio and Geminis get the worst rap in the astrology world online. It's horrible. I don't know after that. Maybe Capricorns do, but you never hear it about Libras. So I love them so that I have to just rib them, poke at them. But I'm not gonna do that this week. I'm really happy for this Libra moon. And my reasoning is that what happens later on the day on Wednesday. So basically, I went too far here, but the Libra moon starts at 6:38 a.m. early in the morning. It's 7:31 at night here. If I go by I'll go back a little bit. This will be good enough here, and I will go back to an aspect that's building up this week, and it actually is to do with Venus at 28 degrees. And hey, there's fellow air sign Gemini, Jupiter in Gemini, 28 degrees. Now, this fire and air connection, this sextile, is very sociable. And for me, it can be looked upon that way. And if the moon is in Libra right here, so yeah, even though Venus is a polarity of Libra, I kind of like this because there is a certain type of sociability and movement here. And so, okay, one thing I'll say off the bat is watch your money spending while this is going on. Even though this is good, you could really buy the extra whatever. So, I need this. It just feels good. It smells good. Whatever it is, just with Jupiter's involved in Venus here, and they're all riled up in fire and air, and they're feeling pretty good. They'll just spend whatever's, okay? So saying that, there's that part, okay? And then, but I like this for an outlet for Aries, Venus and Aries, and for Mercury, and for even Libras. I like this because of where we're going to be later on in the month. And I take situations like this week. So when the moon goes into Libra for the 2.5 days that it is, I like this vibe around. And it's going to lead to other things I'm going to show you here. But I particularly like this. I think there's like favorable conversations that can happen here. Nice and heady and popping and not too much. You know, it could be too much for certain people. But considering the circumstances happening in the world and certain, wherever you are, areas here, there's some ingenuity that's involved in here. And I think it's like not a pressure release valve, but if you've ever been around people that are air and fire and they're intermingling, they can stand still for so long and then they're moving. So they're like moving and talking at the same time, or they're like, we're going to go eat now. We're going to da-da-da. And then like, you know, that night, like, listen, I'll catch you up later. You know, so-and-so's DJing at the club tonight. Let's go. And I'll see you there. And then next thing you know, you're dancing on the floor, you're moving. It's this kind of movement that we have to find in our daily lives or in a week if we have the transits, considering how everything else seems to be overbearing, especially if you watch social media and YouTube and astrology. Okay? For me, I like to come simple. I like to find the little places. This is a little place this week, right? The moon's eventually going to trine the sun and Mercury and Jupiter. You know, we're going to move through. It's first thing, it's going to go all the way into Thursday and then do those aspects I said. But it's on 7:31 p.m. Pacific on Wednesday that we officially have the Venus sextile Jupiter aspect. Just careful with the money spending. Super sociable, though. I love it. I'm an air sign, and I appreciate my fire sign people. When we get into Friday, we carry that. We carry that energy. And as a matter of fact, I mentioned... Sorry, I'm getting over being sick, so I'm going to do that. We're carrying over here when eventually this moon and the sun will have their trine officially on Thursday, my time Pacific. That's going to happen at 1:46 p.m. On Thursday, Jupiter Day. Now, let us not forget something here. And again, this is more of the mutable. I don't think this is altogether bad this week because it's so brief because Mercury's moving so fast. But you can see the nodes here at 23. We also have, where am I? Right there. But we also have Mercury squaring the nodes that day. I don't feel too weird about this one. And the reason is basically Jupiter already did this. So remember, Jupiter squared the nodes a week and a half ago, or no, it was a little bit more than that. That in one sense is a bridge to the eclipse story that's happening for those who are Pisces and North Node Pisces, South Node Virgo. That story that we'll pick up here in September. Huge month, by the way. That September month in the astrology world is big, not only for eclipses, because Saturn's going to be back into Pisces connected to those lunations. Here, though, I think, it again, how do you handle mental acuity and mental power? If it is overloaded, if you have been overloaded, then this Mercury transit this week can mess with you. If you feel like you have a grasp on how far to go with your mind and how to do Virgo world, the Virgo part of your chart, and then you know how to balance it with the Pisces part of your chart, which, by the way, has a huge sense of relief because Saturn and Neptune are no longer there right now temporarily. So, you know, you can look at it that way, but we must point out that Mercury will be squaring these places. I have a tendency at stuff like this because I'm in somewhat of a decent mood today and I have Mercury in Gemini, that it is a bridge between the two. And so there's also some messing around with the mind in a good way of how to deal with South Node, North Node, purging out through the South end, the bringing in through the North. Sometimes we want to purge out, though, and sometimes at the North Node, it's too much. So how can you balance the two? What I'm really saying to you is how you juggle the both of the South Node and the North Node. And if you want any planet, if you're looking for any planet that can juggle this for you, it's Mercury here, squaring the nodes. And that happens at 5:28 p.m. on Thursday. Mercury's doing a lot there. How can I miss something else here with Mercury? And it's his connection to Mars, a sextile. Now, you see this? Mercury just did the connection with Venus earlier that we talked about. Now it's with Mars, right? See how Mercury's carrying messages again this week? And fast. I mean, it's moving so fast that it's going to leave here at the end of the week. It just seemed like it ingressed in there. I think Mercury should be in Gemini for the whole year, along with Jupiter for the whole year. Imagine living that way. I live that way every day, by the way. But now Mercury is branching stories here. And you have to appreciate stuff like this because it's branching an Aries to Leo story. And it's just moving messages back and forth. And so we have a Mars-Mercury sextile that happens, and it actually, this is very flirtatious to me. It can be, like, really flirtatious. Come on, let's appreciate that kind of stuff. Very flirtatious. And creatively, the word flows here. You're journaling. You're writing a script. You're coming up with ideas. This is a great week for it. Again, Mercury has made these massive moves. We did a week and a half ago. Yeah, it was a week ago. We did a Mercury-Uranus conjunction at the last degrees of Taurus. And then we had the ingress that happened. Next thing you know, it's a week later. And see how fast Mercury's doing and what it's touching? The nodes, Venus, Mars, and we're not even done yet this week. So again, have a good laugh with this one, with Mercury and Mars. Enjoy the humor. Enjoy the expressive wordplay. This is beautiful stuff here. You want to brainstorm. You want to need a friend. You're a Gemini. You got a Leo friend. Have a conversation with them this week. It's going to be just boom, boom, boom. And the next thing you know, it's, okay, see you later, bye. And the phone hangs up or whatever. And that's how it is. There ain't no wondering, like, we got off the phone in a weird way. It's never like that. It's just like, you just trust it. You don't care. You know you're going to talk to each other. You're going to see each other again. But while the time that you have, you're just laying it on the line. You're putting everything there and you're brainstorming and you're acknowledging each other. It's a beautiful flirtatious aspect here. So Mercury's going to do this with Venus, and then Mercury does it with Mars, okay? So I'll get to the chat in a second. I see a bunch of people I want to acknowledge. Yeah, I'll get to that in a second. So saying that Mercury sextile Mars aspect is, what did I write here? I wrote ingenuity feeds the artistic expression is what I wrote here on these notes at 2 a.m. the other night. Delirious with a fever. So just burning up with Mars and Leo here. So anyway, that happens here at 3:09, and it's later at 9:42 p.m. Pacific, getting into the next day on the 6th, that we are going to have something. We're going to acknowledge a big moment here, actually. I'll get to it. I'll move it right here. It's going to be ahead. And it's the planet Venus that will leave Aries. Think about this, people. We're going all the way back to what? March? February? I'll do 6-month duration. All right, I'll do 6-month duration here, and I'm going to move through. So Venus went into Aries on February 4th of 2025. Not even hitting the eclipses yet. And it's pretty much then through that whole, remember it's stationed at 9-10 degrees, went backwards, went all the way back into Pisces. Then it's stationed forward, right? It hit 0 degrees Aries on April 30th. And now we're at the last day here of it. So we have a massive Venus run. And remember, this is all Venus retrograde stuff that happened. So we finally get to this place, basically, where Venus leaves Aries and enters in its beautiful home that it loves to be in. Sexy, slow. Wait a second. Let me slow it down here for a second. I mean, ain't nothing wrong with having a little something, like, a little extra, a little, evidence of like living the good life through your senses. Sometimes it's just your honed sensitivity. You're hearing like a good tone or a good frequency, and just comforts you, makes you feel good, and everyone good around you, right? Other times it's that extra couple cookies that you had that eventually turn into other things, with an extra bowl of pasta, whatever it is, that kind of gives you a little extra something for you to hold on to, or for me to hold on to. It's the extra dollop of honey that you put in whatever you put honey on, or like me, I just been spoonfuls of honey this week. Take care of this throat of mine. It's the slow, sensual, easy way of living. And if you have that in your life, or an area in your life, or a piece of grass in your life, or a little plant that you talk to, or more, if you have people in your life that you love or care for, and that when the right time comes to relax, the fruit of your labors, the fruit of your long, hard work, the project, the benefits, the reflection of what you value, you share that with the people that you care about and love, and you feel that are deserving. Because not only did you not do it alone, but you did it with them. They're part of it. They're your crew. And you want to feed them, right? They deserve to be grounded and relaxed. They deserve to feel acknowledged through their senses. Maybe it's a little gift. Maybe it's a little spray on the neck that smells really good. Something that one came up in their garden, Right now, why am I smelling weird rosemary smell? Like I'm smelling it right now. I don't know why. Regardless, Venus and Taurus, welcome. I out this whole year. Now, you know me on this channel. I don't want to badmouth transits, because there's enough of that going on. There's enough of people bad-mouthing Jupiter and Gemini transit for a year. I've had to watch this damn thing on social media for a year. Whatever they had to do for the fucking clicks, you know what I'm saying? They gotta get whatever it takes. Anyway, so I'm not gonna badmouth anything, but when Venus goes into Taurus this week, am I gonna celebrate? I'm gonna watch my sweet tooth, but am I gonna go like, Venus, you just went through the brawn and fire, the retrograde. You just came out here. Your morning star, you're looking good, but now you just kind of developed into something. You just kind of came into your own. It's like, sure, I'll have a glass of wine. Sure. cheese, crackers, yeah, okay, sit down, relax. Well, no, I have, me, Gemini, I always got to leave the party. I got to go. You ever have Venus and Taurus come up to you and say, hey, here. And then you're like, it's me, Mercury and Gemini, I got to go. But all the Venus and Taurus has to do, put a little something in your mouth, touch the back of your neck, start rubbing your shoulders, and it's over. I mean, it's over. I would be there forever. I would never leave Aphrodite's temple. I mean, it's always like that all the time. Like, why would I leave? But, next thing you know, you can't get up off the couch. So, saying that, who cares about that part? I want to say this. You need a little something in your life this week after some of the transits I talked about. Do you need a little bit of a place, considering whatever your damn life story is, and you're scrolling the feeds and you're seeing all the craziness, and about to get real crazy this summer? It's going to pop off. I mean, politically, it's really going to pop off. Take a break this week. When you get to this place on Thursday and Friday, like, you're going to wake up in the morning. It's going to be Venus day. It's going to be Venus and Taurus. Take it easy. Salt scrub bath or in a shower or something. The smells of spring. The fertility. The vitality. The chill. The good. The feel good. I'm going to do it. As a Taurus ascendant, Venus is entering my world this week. I'm Venus ruled. I love Venus wherever she's at. Got no choice. If I told you stories of my life about Venus in my life, relationships, whatever, oh my God, you'd think I'd never fucking learn. I still haven't learned. That's what happens when you have... Oh, I won't get into that. I won't get into it. But I'll get into it. So, please acknowledge this week. Find your senses. When come Thursday, did I say come Thursday? Come Friday. Maybe that's what it is too. I mean, Mars will be still in Leo and Venus will be in Taurus. I mean, speaking of coming, it's like not by aspect. I mean, it's a fixed square. But if you were into that type of thing, I mean, who isn't into that type of thing? Anyway. Your five senses are everything. This week it really kicks in. Please celebrate it and enjoy it. Take care of yourself, okay? Enjoy the fruits of your labor here in your Taurus part of your house. The Uranus transit that's been going on there for 8 years is not quite done yet. We're going to have a shift that happens in a month here with something like this. Any Taurus people out there, any Taurus ascendants out there, really, I think you suffered losses in the last 8 years in some sort of ways of old habits that were really rooted and established that you were either forced to change or you didn't want to or whatever. You're stubbornly changed. But aren't you glad that you did? And can you recognize the value of an 8-year transit that happened in Taurus? Can you recognize it? And if you need to or you want to discover what you learned and you still don't know, Venus's transit through Taurus here next several weeks, a month or whatever it is, please do it. Please do it this week, okay? I don't know what I was saying. I had the rant about that, okay? I had to say that, all right? And mind you, this still kind of happens with a moon being in Libra, okay? See how the middle of the week is playing out here? It's very Mercury, Venus in a lot of ways, okay? So saying that, I need to smell something now. I'm not satisfied. A bag of cookies? No, I need 2 bags of cookies. I'm not satisfied. Jesus, man. That's not gonna do it. I need something. Jesus, it's gonna drive me. Yes, I have something here. Let me see. It says Nicholas. Now, if I really can have scratch and smelling. Woo! 9:42 on Thursday. Venus goes into Taurus. We're going to go into Friday. And Venus Day. Mercury makes another aspect. High Mercury at 26 degrees and high Chiron at 25. You see how Mercury's moving so fast? I move a day, but at 4:55 p.m. on the Friday, Mercury sextile Chiron. Chiron gets boosts this week, or it's boosting everybody else because of the conjunction with Venus and then the connection with Mercury. How many planets can Mercury connect with this week? I mean, how many? It's pretty much hit every single one in the last week. I mean, what else do you want here? Anyway, we have this sextile that happens. What did I write about Venus and Taurus? I wrote attractive, devoted, slow, and filled with pleasure, oozing through nature, love through nature. The senses, your senses make love to the world, and the world makes love through your senses. I wrote that. Go back to Chiron and Mercury. That aspect is happening here. Mercury, the messenger magician, has a little something, has a little potion, has a little something else for Chiron. Chiron and Aries, you Aries people, you get bonus this week. You get a little something, like it seems like nothing by transit, but you get something, and Mercury's going to pass you something in a bottle like this. They're going to pass it to you. Literally, metaphorically, there's something in the bottle, something you need and want that's going to help you out. Maybe, yeah. So, Moon goes into Scorpio later at 7:22. My voice hasn't gone out yet. Let me point that out here on Friday, Saturday for many of you. And then the sociability goes away. All of a sudden, after all this, Moon goes into Scorpio, and we off the bat have a Moon-Venus opposition that happens. A little bit of a reality, not a reality check, but a little bit of like, this could be hot actually, because Venus is Taurus, and then Mars is in Leo ruling Scorpio. Let's just stick to the hot thing. You ever see a Taurus and a Scorpio together in a room, or what they do with each other? They're like wildly attracted to each other, and they drive themselves crazy at the same time. Like they're both super stubborn, but it's like Mars and Venus in the room. They have this thing that like magnetically attracted each other, and then sometimes we have to repel off each other, and they just like basically tell each other to fuck off. But this world runs on Mars-Venus stories. I mean, every damn love story you're watching on Netflix, opera, and all you out there reading I'm learning so much more about this. These trash novels, these new romance trash novels that are completely X-rated, that a lot of people are reading. I'm learning about this. Anyway, there's your trash novel, your X-rated novel here with the Moon-Venus opposition that happens here. So let's keep going. 7th is Saturday on Saturday. Good old Saturn day. Moon square Pluto. Let's get to this day, and then I'll be done. I'm breezing through. This is good. Let's get to this day. It's because at 1:11, as we go through the end of this weekend, it's at 1:11 p.m. Pacific. I'll pick this time here. That we have Mercury, its final aspect that it's going to make pretty much with all the planets here in the last 2 weeks, does this here at 29 degrees. We are pretty much at the end, not only of Mercury being in Gemini, but the Mercury and the Jupiter and Gemini story. I'm going to miss this. I almost like can cry. Have you ever seen a Gemini cry about a Jupiter and a Gemini transit? It's about to happen. And then I'll get it done with. And then everybody else can cry for one straight year about Jupiter being in Cancer because it belongs in Cancer. It loves being there, right? But think about tears in Cancer and then think about them multiplied. Get ready for that, people. Get ready for that. So anyway, I'm playing. Well, it's true, but there's more to it than that. But we have this aspect that happens here on 1:11 p.m. or 1:11 p.m. on Sunday next week. It's the end of this transit. It's a good time to just be like, hey, Mercury, thanks. Jupiter, thank you. But Mercury especially, because with a transit like this, with a Jupiter being in the sign for a year, we look to the planetary ruler. And if you think about this, and if you wanted to track it, it's incredible the Mercury retrogrades that we had during this whole transit. Some were in fire, right? A lot of them were in fire pretty much. But for me, that's how I look at this. And I look, if you do not understand the gift, the androgyny, the moving from genders, the moving from worlds, from one world to the other. There's only one. There's only one who does it, and it's Hermes. It's the only one. So if you cannot appreciate that multiplied. The lessons and the knowledge acquired through retrogrades, it magnified by a Jupiter and Gemini transit, squared by Saturn, giving it form, finally, a game plan, a structure for the vision. If you have not found refinement in the mutability and in the magic, I don't know where else you're going to find it. So for me, this is it was an incredible transit because of the Saturn square. It was the herald. It was the guide for the Venus retrograde earlier this spring. All the little things that you needed or purposely were thrown in your way as wrenches in your plan, it was Hermes. Can you look when you get to a week from now? Can you actually look, like if you were, pretend you were looking at Hermes. Okay. And you're like, you look at me and you're, it's Jupiter, Mercury here, Gemini. And you were to look at me and you're like, shit, you fucker. And I'm going to be like, I told you. And then you're going to say to me, I remember last December you said something to me. You didn't tell me the truth. No, I did tell you the truth. I just didn't say it in the way that you wanted me to. Actually, I didn't say it at all. But I tricked you in a couple things. I told you to go this way when the path you needed to end up to was the other way, but I told you to go the other way. And a lot of people get pissed at something like this because they feel like they had a fast one pulled on them. You needed a fast one pulled on you. How else would you have figured it out? In this day and age, where everyone can pull up something whenever they want and they can scroll and get the piece of information, people are still naive and falling on their face. Do you realize you need to fall on your face? Now, I don't want someone to fall on their face and smash open their nose, but metaphorically, sometimes you have to run into walls or you have to get lost and you need to be tricked. But it's in those places where the true insight, the true knowledge comes. And that's the way Hermes works. It's the trickster. It's just how it is. And later on, next Sunday here on the 8th, when you're looking at Mercury and Gemini and Jupiter, honor Hermes, will you? Never gets the credit. Everyone's doing Venus talismans. They're gonna do Jupiter and Cancer, whatever, with Jupiter, Venus. They're gonna do Mars and Scorpio later this year. They're gonna do all this stuff. When was the last time you heard anybody like give Hermes the amount of praise that everyone else is giving on their altars or their talismans or whatever else? It's not that they blow Hermes off, but they take Hermes for granted. None of this stuff, the clock, the wheels, the software, all this stuff, none of it is nothing. It's nothing without Hermes. The recipes for the tincture. The secrets. Unopening of the underworld. It's all Hermes. So, please give Hermes his due, her due, or whatever, their due. Because all the times that people will bitch about a Mercury retrograde and all that stuff, do you realize how much magic happens during a Mercury retrograde? It's incredible. And we get to have it 3 times a year or 3 weeks at a time. Forget about the shadow periods. Multiple conjunctions with the sun. We just had one. We do inferior and exterior like multiple times. It's like, again, I think it gets a bad rap. I think Geminis get a bad rap. This is my love letter to Geminis. Please acknowledge a Gemini in your life this week. And when it comes to next Sunday, you got to put that last something on the altar. All of a sudden, you're going to come up with an altar for Hermes because you just heard me talking about this. But a moment like this, It's magic multiplied. Mind multiplied. And one day, here in the future, you'll catch yourself mumbling to yourself, I wish Jupiter was back in Gemini. You'll have some Jupiter and Cancer story that's playing out and you thought it was all candy. Don't worry though. Hermes don't discriminate. Doesn't at all. It'll show that here. Because at 3:58, pretty much 2 hours after this, you could see it here. I'll just go by the hour. You could see that Mercury enters Cancer. It is the herald for you, doing you another favor to go, hey, I'm going to lead the way now for the Jupiter and Cancer transit that's going to happen for the year, for a cardinal point moment is the focus of this year, and it's Mercury here, speeding up, speeding away. That kind of was, I'll open the door for you, Jupiter. We just did this together, and we just ended it, and I'm going to open up the new door into this new realm. And it's pretty much there at 3:58 p.m. that Mercury enters Cancer. All of a sudden, the mind switches. We get into sensitivity and a little bit more quiet and a slower pace. Mercury's not going to be moving slower in the sky per se, but at least in Cancer, we're dealing with the perception, how we're perceptive we are, the empathy that happens when we not in such a mind place, but we get into a lower core place emotionally with the way we feel, how others feel, and the containers for that, and how we express ourselves. And it's not necessarily just words. It's through... if you think about a kaleidoscope of colors, and all those colors had different moods, and they're changing, right? They're changing. And that's what Mercury in Cancer is, and the moon ruling it. So ramp that up a notch. And it's less than 24 hours from there, basically, on the 9th. We have our Jupiter ingress into Cancer for the year. And off the bat here too, I just want to point out that as soon as Mercury goes into Cancer, we have our first cardinal square, and we have our Mercury, Saturn square, our Mercury Neptune square, and it triggers this cardinal story. And for some out there, for many, and world politics and all this is a pretty big moment here, because I think it shifts the 3 months, and we're about to see things ramped up, I think, this summer here, and winter in the southern hemisphere. But there is a definite gate closing here that happens, and one opening here, and it's very cardinal. And off the bat, Mercury says, what's up, Saturn and Neptune? And they're like, hello, Mercury. And they push the story. So this happens here on the 8th into the 9th is the switch up. That's why I'm telling you that please appreciate this last week of Jupiter being in Gemini and Mercury being there, okay? I'll get to the chat in a second. I want to say that, I guess for kicks, just to do it, we will go to the next day. That's for next week's forecast, because my voice is starting to go. Is you see here that Jupiter is in Cancer. That will happen on 2:02 p.m. Pacific on Monday the 9th. We'll have the Mercury square, like I mentioned, the Saturn square that day. All of a sudden, we have to also pay attention to Venus, because now that Venus is in Taurus, we will have the first major clash with Venus and Taurus and Pluto and Scorpio, and we have a Venus square Pluto aspect that's pretty intense. And so this week is enjoy it, people. Enjoy this transitional week and what Mercury brings. It's connection to Mars, it's connection to Venus, it's connection to Chiron. All the stuff that I mentioned this week, the sociability in the middle of the week, the switch up that happens. All of this from Venus going into Taurus, we have these doors closing and other ones opening here. And I think it propels us for the next 3 months of a Uranus ingress in the Gemini, a pretty much Neptune Saturn conjunction that doesn't happen officially, but they get less than a degree away from each other. We have a Mercury retrograde that eventually is going to happen. We will have a Jupiter Venus conjunction in August in Cancer. All this stuff is going to push us and get us to a place to when we get to September, when we're back in the eclipse realm and we're revisiting at that point 29-degree Pisces again. So for me, it's a type of thing where we get a glimpse here of the future after this week, and we start to taste what it is to have planets like Pluto and eventually Uranus in air and Neptune and Saturn in fire, and what they will bring to us as a world, and the changes and the shifts that we've been talking about, how they start to come into play. So this week, acknowledge the crossing, the threshold here, and you might as well have a good time being sociable about it if you can this week. And please make sure you do the Venus thing that I say in Taurus, the sensual pleasures. Just don't overdo it. Don't worry, Pluto will throw a wrench in your plan next week. There's that, and then my Mercury appreciation, genuflection, the best planet there is and the best sign that it ever will be in Gemini. So saying that, I want to say thanks to everyone listening to my rant today. I didn't know where I was going to go. I went off my notes here, but that's okay. I want to say thanks for those who gave me super chats. Cookerzilla is here. I notice you, my friend. Hello. Yeah, plants. This is a good plant week. We're going to start this Virgo weekend. This is a good plant week in general. You're going to get yourself some foliage. You're going to need either plant or flower, some kind of thing, the water. And when we get into Venus and Taurus, it's a good week for that. I want to make sure I notice every 11T was here. Hi. And Steffi G. Praise Magical Jagoff Hermes. Wow. That is never had it come to me that way. That's funny. Astrologer Mackenzie, I think I'll miss Jupiter and Gemini. It's fun while it lasted. It was a lot of good stuff there. All you Geminis, you're going to be thankful down the line for this one to have Saturn and Jupiter in your world. There's going to be a payoff for you. Just go look to the Pisces part of your chart and how it connects to your Gemini part of your chart. And that's it. Melissa Carey, you got it. No problem. Astro Stephanie is your Venus return. Hell yeah. All you Venuses and Tauruses, man, y'all just chill. You could talk in a lower voice maybe. I don't know where your Mercury is, but yeah. So hey, let's end it. Let's end this thing because my voice is starting to go. Let's end it right. What are we gonna do? Is this the one? Main chart, phone wide shot. No, is that the one? No, is it this one? Oh, it is. It is. There it is. Hi. Is it gonna let me reset the camera again? Yeah, there it is. I can't believe I did the stream. My voice was gone several days ago. All right, let's do it. We're gonna pull a card. I'm at the hour mark. It's time for me to go. I'm gonna review a couple things here. After I pull this card, I'm gonna talk about a couple things. Logistical call to action, subscribe, all this kind of stuff, and talk about my special, my astrology reading special. So let me get to this. Let's pull it up. Let's do this. I won't even think. I'm already thinking. I'm already Mercury and Gemini. I'm already dialed in. I'm already. Already. I always will be. I was, and I am. This is from the Goddess of Love Tarot deck. Is he going to let me? Hey, it's the Hermit, Nicholas. It's what I've been all week. It's where I've been all week. I've been a hermit because I'm sick. I was sick. Left the conference early because I got sick. All right, so let's get to this. Astrological correspondence, Virgo, in this. To know the goddess is to know the darkness. That's hot. Let me stop right here. Let me read this line again. To know the goddess is to know the darkness. Has anybody ever really like mind body melded with like intense holistic ritualistic Virgo experience? That's pretty much it. It's pretty much this first sentence. To know the goddess is to know the darkness. The void, the womb, the impenetrable nothingness. Oh my God. This is the dark night of the soul. This is the vision that must be cleared out at all costs, no matter how isolating. This is the path of the hermit. As a mother goddess who rules over the fertility of the earth, Demeter, is intimately tied to the cycles of birth and death as well as love, as reflected by her intense devotion to her daughter Persephone. While mourning Persephone's abduction to the Hades consort, Demeter emerges as the hermit, venturing through darkness, mourning, and loneliness. Her journey persists half of the year as Persephone leaves her mother once again to rule over the underworld. The hermit speaks of the need to find center and refuge within the self. Some alone time, Nicholas, and recalibration are needed. Rekindle your relationship to your heart and erotic self. Solitude is often necessary to understand your own drives and fantasies as well as what you want out of any sort of relationship. Climb the mountain of your heart to the seat of the goddess and pour your sorrows onto her lap. Dancing with her also means integrating pain and loneliness and grief and heartache. Mourn all the lost love, all the lost sex, all the lost connection, and trust that your strength will carry you through to rebirth. Damn, that's no joke. Affirmation is, I honor my inner world as a path towards wholeness, love, and embodiment. This deck is really cool because it just gives you things. Because like the next thing, it says journal questions. So it's like giving you a journal question. How can reconnecting with my sensual and erotic self open me up to all the possibilities of love that the universe has in store? I don't know. How can it open up? I wish I had a Venus and Taurus transit coming this week. And this book has rituals. I love this deck. Anyway, ritual, I won't say the whole thing, says feel whatever you're feeling, especially if it is pain, jealousy, grief, loneliness, sadness, or another tough emotion. Give yourself a few hours of solitude or a full day to be alone and uninterrupted by calls or texts. Dedicate the solitude to the goddess, to Demeter, to the universe, and to yourself. Go on a walk or a hike. Feel your feelings with each step and know this is too of the goddess. Talk to the universe or to your heart or to your beloved, and when you're ready to return home, leave an offering of wine, beer, bread, fresh water, flowers, or honey on your altar. Write a poem or pray. Create art as an offering to the hermit. And that is a beautiful card pull. And that is part of a deck, again, called the Goddess of Love Tarot. Shout out to the particular person that turned me on to this beautiful deck that is becoming a regular in my life. All right. So saying that, thanks for everybody watching. Oh, no. What am I doing? I can't forget. I must plug myself. Here's my Instagram page. Some of you already follow me. But you'll see a reading special that I have going on till this Friday when Venus goes into Taurus. First day here is the code is Twin15. That is the code to get a percentage off of a reading. If you're thinking about it, half year, you're thinking about next coming year, you want to talk about Jupiter and Cancer for the year in your chart. You want to know what Saturn and etc. is going to be for you. All that kind of stuff is right here, and I will drop it in chat. Here is my whatevers. No, that's not what it is. What I'm trying to do right now is give you my link to here. This is a good time to do it. If you want to book a reading, I've already had a bunch of people throw their stuff their way. You can book as far as out you want here. I think it's all the way out. I don't know what my calendar is open far out. Basically, I have slots second half of this month. Stuff's already booked up this week to next week a little bit, and it goes further out. And then July, there's some spots. There's a possibility in August that I'm going to be in transition. It might not have as many spots in August. So that's the deal. How do we email you? Well, if you want to book a reading, the link is in the copy, is in here. I'm going to do it again. If you really want to email me, you'll look here deep into the copy under this video here. You will see the way to email me. It's down here somewhere. It's kind of secretly thrown in there. If you look at the bottom of it somewhere, it's in there. And that's how you do that. But if one was thinking about booking, book through the official thing, okay? There is that. I have a video coming out this week that was already on someone else's channel, and I will throw the link up. It's going to also be on my channel, okay? So let me go find this. With my good old pal, Mark Lawrenson in Australia, put out a video in the last 24 hours, and I'm in it. And it's our conversation about Jupiter and Cancer. This same video, because Mark is very generous that on his channel, he's going to give me the same video. I'm going to upload this video this week on my own channel. Please watch it. I will give this to you now, though, and drop this in the chat. Please support my channel when I have it up there. I'll put this video link to Mark and I's talk about the Jupiter and Cancer transit. Again, I want to thank Mark for throwing me on here on his channel. I love talking with him. He's such a good person, a great astrologer. If you're in Australia and you are looking for a good teacher, he's one of the best. And I appreciate his energy. Again, this particular video came out in the last 24 hours on Mark's channel. If you go over there, please leave a comment. Go subscribe to his channel and tell him Sparkle sent you, okay? All right. Here's one more thing. The NORWAC conference happened last weekend. For those who attended the conference, you still got a week left to watch all the videos. Please go watch them. You're going to regret it by the end of the week. You're going to try to stuff all this information in your head. I was happy to help out with this conference, and there's some cool stuff coming up next year. I will have some announcements about my particular role with this conference next year and how it's going to change a little bit, and I'm really psyched for it. Okay? Saying that, here, I want you to keep track of this. This is another website. It's the United Astrology Conference that's happening next year in Chicago. It's September 3rd to the 9th. I am the person for this conference that will be selling vendor tables in the marketplace and also selling ads for the conference. The registration for the conference is going to happen in August at one of the cheapest rates I've ever seen. It's not going to last long. Go to uacastrology.com. Get yourself familiar with the particular website. You'll know when things happen. Okay? All right, saying that, what other information do I have? I have a Patreon. All that stuff is in my call to action under the copy here. You could see all my links. I mentioned the Stormie interview I did. I have 3 or 4 interviews that I recorded at NORWAC. I will slowly work on them here in the next month. and think that is it. I think it's time for me to be done because my voice is gone. I did my best today with the forecast, considering I was coming off a week of being sick and groggy. I just wanted to make sure I connected with all of you, mentioned my special, and I needed to be me. I needed to do my flow. This week, part of me is dead serious about live streaming every single day this week until the Jupiter and Gemini transit is done, or have fun with publishing different videos that I have. The Mark and I conversation about Jupiter and Cancer I will be putting here on my own channel here at some point this week. It could be on Jupiter Day on Thursday. So saying that, I appreciate all of your whatevers, your participation, and for those in chat, okay? And on that note, I'm looking at how many people are watching me today. Pretty good, as always. I do these things with no plan, and I get a consistent amount of you, and it's only going to get better. I have a lot of work ahead of me this month with particular projects I'm working on behind the scenes in the astrology world. It's going to ramp up again for me, but I feel really good about some of the things that I've done this year, this last 6 months, and at the midpoint of this year. I know I'll get the subscribers and the people. I know it. That's just inevitable. It's more about, I'm proud of my consistency and my willingness to be me and to be wild and to take chances and to know there ain't no one like me on this damn YouTube channel. There are thousands of channels. There are thousands of astrologers. There are thousands of whatevers. There ain't no one. There is no one who tells you to trust yourself. There's no one who tells you how prepared you are to be yourself. And how all of that comes from a place of love, strength, and compassion, and how you will kick ass eventually and fall on your face and get right back up because you know you can. And you know there's a new world calling, and there's a fight for this one. And at some point, in some way, and somehow, you have a say in it, and you have a place in it. And that's what this channel is all about. And that's what I do with one-on-one consultations. I'm not like all my other friends out there in the astrology world and some of the strangers you watch. More power to everybody. But you know, here, there's a revolution happening. I'm not afraid to speak my mind, but all in all, it's to help support your story, your place in this changing time, your say, your creativity.